Okay, Emerald Aggro. This deck is stupid. Basically, it wins or it loses. It's as simple as that. A lot of skill comes from the mulligan. Let's just jump right into it. So, if you're not used to these videos, basically here's a glossary. They should have timestamps on them. If you're interested in anything particular, you can just skip to that. If not, then yeah, let's move right into the keycards. So keycards for this deck, it's an aggro deck. So you're going to want to just be spamming the board with as much as you can, really. Just trying to race out lore before your opponent can get there or clear your board. So Stitch and Rapunzel are great at drawing cards. It's the only card drawn in the deck. Most of the time you don't really need it, but they are helpful. Rapunzel's a lot more difficult than Stitch to activate, but it's still card draw, and she does quest for 2, so she still helps you reach that win con. And if she's inkable, so if you don't find any use for her, just ink her, simple as that. Stitch is great. You can play it on turn 4 some games if you get lucky. It allows you to just refill your hand every time you play a card. Fantastic in this deck. Even if you play it on turn 6, it's a bit slow still, but maybe you can find use for it turn 6, but definitely want to go for that turn 4 shift. Simba is fantastic as a turn 2 play, because if you go first and you play a turn 1 drop and quest with it, then it's probably just going to get traded out. But Simba, it has free defense and bodyguard, which is great, so a lot of time these slower decks aren't going to be able to get over it. There are a couple cards that I think Blue's got that can get over it quite easily, but you're not going to be running into that much, and that is matchup specific, so don't worry too much about that. Kuzco is arguably the best card in the deck. It is uninkable, which is the only issue with the card. Basically, it quests for free, and it has ward, so if you're playing against a control deck and they're just like single target removing everything you play, Kuzco is like a guaranteed free lore, which is fantastic in the later stages, turn 5 plus, because it's exactly what you need. And if that wasn't good enough already, he has the ability No Touchy, which when he's challenged and banished, you can just banish the other characters, so they're gonna have to like spend a lot of resources to get rid of this card, or just let you quest endlessly. And then for the last key cards, we've got Genie and Mother's Knows Best, both uninkable again, which is the only real issue with like green, I'd say, is that so many of their good cards are uninkable. Basically, they're both bounce cards. Mother Knows Best is a song as well, which is good sometimes. Basically just remove an enemy character from the board, but adds it back to their hand, so they have to spend another turn to play it, so that gives you like one turn ahead of them on the race. Genie's also got Evasive and 2 quests, which is fantastic, because Evasive's really good. People aren't really thinking too much about Evasive at the moment, but the units are so hard to get rid of, and then when you have a mix of Evasive and Ward units, your board just becomes so sticky. Unfortunately, it is 6 cost. It's kind of what you want to be closing the game out with. But yeah, those are the key cards. It's quite a simple, straightforward deck, really. This is a deck list. It leans really heavily on the early game, obviously, because it's an aggro deck, but you do have, like, the Mother Gothel is really good, but I'll get to that in a second. Let's just go from the start. So you've got Lilo, uninkable 1/1, quest for 2, best 1-drop you're going to be looking for in this deck. Just getting the early questing is great, especially in combination with Simba. Your turn 2 is just going to be great. If you can find multiple Lilos, sometimes on turn 2 it's better to play like 3 Lilos on the board, so you can quest for like 6 from your second turn, which is like crazy. Stitch, 1 mana, inkable, 2/2, 1 lore. You're mainly going to be wanting using that to shift into the 6 cost Stitch to draw more cards, and also just because it's got so many more stats on it, and it's got that free quest, which is all we're really looking at in this deck. Duke of Weselton is just a 1-drop, really. Then we've got LeFou. It's a 2-drop. Quest for 2, don't worry about its ability, we don't have the card that's needed, so just don't worry about that, you're just looking at those 2 quest points. Then we've got Simba, spoke a lot about Simba already, don't really need to say much more. Flynn is a great card, a really annoying 2-drop, so it quests for 2, which is quite fast, and every time it's challenged, your opponent has to discard a card, which in this game is crazy, because card draw is such a premium in this game. Discarding their cards early game, it just gives them so many less options. And then we've got Mickey Mouse. I probably would be looking to cut this card in the future. I'm not going to say this list is optimized. The game's not even out yet, so the chances that there's an optimized deck is highly slim. Very unlikely. But yeah, this Mickey, it's literally just inkable and can quest for 2 is the only reason it's here. And we've got a Cheshire Cat. Quest for 2, and when it's banished, you can it just banishes the character that banished it, so it's just great board control. As well, not really board control, but it slows your opponent down while you're reaching your win con and they're not. Rapunzel we spoke about already. Hans, quest for free. Yeah, it's kind of the thing with this deck, everything just quests for a lot. Think about evasive, quest for 2. Evasive is a really good keyword, which I spoke about earlier. Not many people have cards to deal with it, and if they do, they're going to be using like Dragonfires, which is costing them a lot of resources just for one of your characters. Kuzco we spoke about. Mad Hatter is great. Inkable, 5 cost, quest for free, and whenever it's challenged, you can draw a card. Simple as that. Stitch we spoke about. Genie we spoke about. Mother Goth Elves, fantastic. Inkable 6 drop. So if you draw it early, just ink it. This is mainly there for if your opponent's racing you, because sometimes your opponents don't want to control the board. They want to just be like, okay, well, if they're trying to get to 20, I'll try to get to 22. Mother Goth Elves just doesn't let them. Basically, when she's exerted, your opponent can't quest. Simple as that. And then Mother Knows Best, we've already gone over that. Cool, so that's the deck. Like I say, probably unoptimized. Maybe take out Mickey for like more 1-drops, but when you don't have that much card draw, you don't really want too many 1-drops. You kind of want a nice curve. Main combos. I've put Lilo here with Simba, but you could be looking at any turn 1. Basically, a turn 1 drop and then a turn 2 Simba, if they play a character. Protects your 1-drop and lets you quest for more, and then probably will kill the one that they've played, and then lets you just get that early game ball control that you're looking for. This deck doesn't really have too many like combos necessarily. It's more just trying to get 20 quest points. So we've got Fluent Rider and Cheshire Cat. Basically, if you play both of these, you're going to be questing for 4 just off of these 2 units, and you're going to be discarding their hand and banishing anything that wants to challenge the cat, which is just really good. And then we've got Stitch, and then I've just put all the 1-drops. Stitch, vomit your hand out, draw more cards, vomit your hand out, draw more cards. It's as simple as that, and then just get to 20. That's all you really want to do. It's so straightforward. Mulligan, I've put these cards here. Basically, the mulligan is like the only difficult bit about this deck, I'd say. You just want a good turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. That's all you're really looking for in a mulligan. So for example, I've got Lilo, you would keep for turn 1, Simba you'd keep for turn 2, or you would keep Fluent Rider for turn 2, and then Cheshire Cat for turn 3. Other ways you can do this is like if you have 3 1-drops, you can keep all 3 1-drops, because then you can play a 1-drop on 1 and 2 1-drops on 2. We'll go more into that in the gameplay section, but yeah, that's the mulligan. These are the matchups. As you can see, it's got quite a good matchup spread. I might be wrong about this. Obviously, I haven't put specific decks because there isn't really a meta to go from to go off of yet. So I've kind of just put the inks. So I put very favourable red. Basically, red's resources cost so much that by the time they've got their board clears, you're kind of already where you want to be. And then you just play Kuzco, they can't get rid of it, and then you just win the game through that. Blue or Sapphire, it's less favourable than red, but they're still trying to ramp to their bigger cards, and by that time you should already have enough quest or lore to be in a comfortable position to just close the game out with Kuzcos and like bounce cards. And then I've put Amber in favourable as well. Basically, Amber's more like a mid-range kind of style deck, and I'm just thinking you can outrace them basically is the thought there. Even, I've put Amethyst in even, I'm honestly not sure. And then I've put Emerald in even as well, just because most of the time Emerald decks are trying to do the same thing as what this deck is doing. And then Steel is very unfavourable. Tinkerbell into Grab Your Swords just clears your board. And yeah, definitely don't play this into Steel if you can choose. So yeah, that's it for this section of the video. We're gonna go on to some gameplay now. If you did enjoy the video, like, subscribe. There's more coming, there's more on the channel, so yeah. Okay, so going into game 1 here, we've got Simba, we've got Lilo, so we've got our turn 1, 2, and then we've got turn 3 for Cheshire Cat. So we can mulligan this, but we might want to use this to ink as well, so we can... I'm actually okay to hold this hand, I think. I'll just keep all of it. Don't do that very often, but seems like we're not going to need anything else, and I'm happy with this. Don't want to risk it and get something worse. In the last video I mentioned that you want to keep in mind what you're putting away in your mulligan because it goes to the bottom of your deck. I was completely wrong. The deck gets shuffled after it goes to the bottom, so it doesn't matter at all. So let's see what our opponent's doing now. Okay, cool. So turn 1, as I say, we're just gonna ink. Maybe Rapunzel actually. Yeah, because we've got basically, so we've got 1, 2, 3, and then we can go 4. So we won't need Rapunzel at all. Won't need that. Going first is great with this deck as well. I imagine you would want to choose to go first a lot of the time, just because you want to start questing as soon as possible. There is an argument to be had for going second, because you can draw the extra card. But fine, so the enemy dealer themselves. I will ink. I'll ink this guy. And because they could trade into the Lilo, so I'm gonna actually play the Simba, protect it. I was thinking of playing the Flim Rider there, and then if they trade, but it seems like I just want to stick to the game plan, just kind of show you what the deck wants to do. It's super straightforward. You just hit the quest button every single time, and then just hope they don't have an answer. It's kind of how like early metas kind of end up evolving. So it seems like we're playing against an aggro deck here as well, so we'll just race them. And we're not going to need to have too much ink in the ink hole, so we can stop inking stuff after around like 4 ink, I'd say. There's ink. I don't really want to ink anything here, to be honest. I'll ink a cat to play a cat, I think that's fine. Might even be worth playing Flynn actually. I think I prefer Flynn to cat in this specific matchup, because they're not playing anything big, so discarding their hand seems to be the best thing we can do. Now the great thing about Amethyst is just how much card draw the deck's got. I'm playing it just in time there. What's the 5 going to be? A bodyguard, we don't care about that, that's fine. Like I say, we're not even playing for board, we're just trying to win the quest race. Which seems like it's going quite well at the moment. We're going to ink this Stitch. We might even play the Stitch. We can play the Stitch and the cat, that's only 3. I'll ink Stitch to play Hans. So yeah, as you can see, not much thinking needed with this. So we're at 10, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on board. So we're not gonna, they don't have any board wipes in these 2 inks that they're playing, so we should be fine to just smash all that stuff out on the board. So they're going to start doing some trading here, which is totally fine. Now, due to the nature of this deck, I'm not sure how long games will take. So I'm going to play 3 and then see kind of how much time we've spent. Because I don't want to have the video be too short, but I don't want to play like 8 games just because the deck's a fast-paced deck. Mickey, we'll ink this. Mickey's probably the worst card in the deck. Play Mad Hatter, which is great because of card draw. So how much have they got on board? They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they got 7, so they'll go to 16. Or at 15, they're getting to clear our board up pretty soon, or we're just going to win. So they're either going to need to trade all their stuff into the Hans, or they're going to have to discard 2 cards. Which is great for us. Yeah, so I've got 1 card in hand, so that's kind of what's going to be happening a lot of the time with this deck specifically, is that you are just going to kind of be relying on like them not having an answer, which is kind of how like early meta aggro decks end up like being, is just it either wins or it loses. It's as simple as that. You do the mulligan and then that's kind of it. Your input is gone. The deck plays itself. So there's Rapunzel. They draw 3 from them, which is fine, but they have spent all their ink. Now they have to kill this Flynn or we just win, which means, yeah, they're gonna have to slow themselves down quite a lot. And this is what kind of ends up happening, is your opponent kind of is struggling to like stop you from getting to 20, and then in doing that with Flynn, Ryder and Cat, they're just like harming themselves, and you're playing cards that they can't answer to, and then you're just questing. It's just that's just how the deck works. Important to keep track of how many lore pips they've got on the board that they can play next turn. So obviously they're going to need 9, in which it doesn't look like they have. If they do have enough to get to 20, you're going to have to start doing some trading and take the back foot. But should be fine. We can play another Mad Hat here. And then go to 18. Just like that. I don't think they have an answer, and I think that'll be game 1. Yeah, there's the concession. That's the first game. Very nice. Okay, so game 2, we're going second this time. Shouldn't be a problem. So we're gonna get rid of, like I say, we're gonna play turn 1 and turn 2. So I'm happy to keep these two for the first 2 turns, and then we can just get rid of everything else. And yeah, I'm happy with this. So we can go Duke turn 1, LaFell turn 2, and then Cheshire Cat turn 3, and turn 4 Hans. Which is totally fine, so we'll actually ink a Hans, just because maybe we'll draw a 1-drop Stitch and be able to go to turn 4 Stitch. So yeah. You're gonna want to let your opponent do all the trading for you. So if they quest with the Flounder, we're not going to trade into it, we're just going to quest ourselves and hope to get ahead. There's a symbol from the opponent. Ink this Mickey. Mickey's going to get inked a lot of the time. The games where you actually play Mickey are quite low. We're going to quest with this. There's an argument to like not quest with it because they can just kill it with the Simba and get a really good trade. So maybe that was a misplay, but we'll find out. Now the best top deck we can get is probably our own Simba here. Simba is such a great card at just protecting your early game board. It has so many stats, and the bodyguard keyword is fantastic. Oh, with Dingle Hopper, I've not seen that card in a long time. And by a long time I mean like 10 games. But that's going to be really annoying for us to deal with actually. Okay, so we've got 3 cats, so we don't mind inking one. And then I am just going to quest, even though they're going to kill it with the Simba. Your goal is to just get to 20 as fast as possible. So we're going to kill a Flounder there. Heal it. Yeah, this Dinglehopper is going to cause us a lot of problems, I think. I mean, the cat's really good at this. It's going to be dealing with the Simba. And then Hans is a 3/3 stat line, which would be good as well. Cool, cool. So I'm actually good to ink Stitch here. And then play Hans. Quest for 2. And then if they choose to deal with it, they're going to just end up destroying their own board, which is fine for us. opponent taking their time here to think about what they want to play. It seems like they're playing a heal princess deck, which seems to be like one of the B tier decks, I'd say. Okay, so there goes our cat, and in turn it kills the flounder, which is great. Seems like they're running low on cards as well, but obviously Amber does have Rapunzel, which could help them out quite a lot. If we top deck our own Rapunzel, I might want to kill the Simba and then just draw 2 more. Could be good for us. There's Jasmine, another hero card. It's fine, it's not really doing much. They got 1 card left. Got Genie, which is great. Love Genie. Gonna ink a cat, play a second hand here. So these two are gonna be questing for 6 if they both manage to get it off. And you can see the deck's not really doing much, but it's just getting to the win con so effectively. Like, is it doing it really clean? No, it looks quite ugly, but it's doing it, which I think is why the deck works. Now you're gonna have some games where you just brick or your opponent just has all the answers. That's just kind of how aggro goes, but this deck is going to be great early on, especially just to catch out opponents that don't really know the meta or have like unrefined decks and stuff like that. So we're going to play Genie here, hopefully, if we top deck a Inkable card. We're going to bounce this Rapunzel, because then if he wants to get rid of his hands, he's going to have to kill 2 of his units. And then the Genie's got evasive as well, which is going to be super annoying. So I don't think their deck's going to run anything. We didn't get a top... We didn't get an Inkable card, but we did get Kuzco, which is fine as well. So we're just questing free. And now we're kind of at that final stretch where we're just going to be playing stuff and hope it sticks. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't. And if it does, then great, we win. So they're probably deciding what's the best way to get rid of the hands, or if they even need to. So on board they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they'll go up to 12. So if they quest with everything, we're probably going to need to start trading our own stuff. Or I guess Genie counts as a free trade basically. It stops them from questing for a turn. Or even Mother Got Fell would be great here. But I think I would just ink it to play the Genie. They don't spend any ink there, which is great for us. We're going to ink this Stitch. Play as Genie to bounce this Cinderella. I think we'll be good. Yeah, that works for me. That's for free. And then hopefully Genie can just get us there. I don't think they've got anything to deal with the like late game evasive. We can still bounce stuff with Mother Knows Best, and we've still got another Genie in the deck. And we've still got 2 more Mother Knows Bests in the deck. We know that the opponent's probably playing with dead hands, so they've got the Cinderella, and then it seems like 1 dead card because they didn't play it when they had 6 ink last time. And then we can kind of just assume that the top deck might just be something average. And they're only questing for free now, so we're definitely ahead. And even if they do quest for free, they're leaving the Kuzco alive, which is a massive issue for them. This is a like textbook kind of way this deck goes. You have like a really annoying early game. Wow, they're gonna play Let It Go on Genie, that's just really annoying. So yeah, you have like the really annoying early game, and then your late game kind of just revolves around bouncing their stuff and just trying to like squeak in as many points as you can. Play a Triton there. Which I'm just gonna bounce. Fantastic. Okay, so we top deck Rapunzel. We can heal our Kuzco, draw 2, which is great. Another Rapunzel and a Lilo, so we're gonna play Lilo. Gonna ink this Rapunzel and bounce this Triton. I think that will give us enough pace we want to win. So yeah, that's just like the late game burst Rapunzel's got. That card is insane. So now they need to kill everything or we just win next time. Because if they kill Kuzco, then we've got four quests with these 2 cards. But if they kill these 2 somehow, then we've got 3 with Kuzco, so they need to kill everything. Or I guess they can kill, they can leave up a Lilo or Rapunzel. Gonna develop, they're definitely just searching the deck for something good here, they're in top deck mode. Yeah, I feel like this has been such a great game. You didn't need the early game Lilo. On the Simba combo, there's the concession, there's another win. Okay, so 2 wins heading into game 3 here. So we don't have a turn 1 play, which is the most important, but I am going to keep Simba and just mulligan everything else. Hopefully we get a 1-drop. Duke's fine. Mainly looking for a Lilo, don't find it, but like I said, Duke's fine. So let's go ahead and ink a... I'm gonna ink a Rapunzel. This early on you don't really need it because nothing's got enough health to really benefit the heal too much. And this early on, if they're going to be trading stuff into your units, they're probably killing your units. So ink a Robin Hood here. I'm going to ink... this Tinkerbell. I think should be fine. Play a Simba. Now they might be playing Sapphire Ramp, which I made a video on 2 days ago. That doesn't seem like it, they might be playing Item. It's always good to kind of scout what 2 colours the opponent's playing. Because then you know what to play around and what not to play around. So if they've got Ruby, we know to play around Be Prepared. So we're going to go wide here, because if we play just another Simba, we're only questing for 1, whereas if we play both of these, we're questing for 2, if that makes sense. And then big decision on what to ink. I'm going to ink this Simba. We've already got one, so we shouldn't need another one. I feel like the Hans is going to be better, just simply because of the free quest. That's all you're looking at with this deck. They're going to sing 1 jump of grammar, which is great, which is fine with me. Okay, so they're playing Steel, so I think they'll be playing like an item combo deck. Gonna ink this cat, which I'm quite reluctant to do, but to get this. Hopefully they don't have the turn 4 Tinkerbell as a grab your swords combo, because that would be absolutely devastating. That would just clear our whole board, and then we'd probably just concede. It's kind of, Steel is the only ink that you don't want to go against. Thankfully it's not too popular. I feel like it will get more popularity as like people kind of start choosing the most optimal stuff, because the Tinkerbell card is insane. Speaking of, there's 1 to everything, and then if they sing grab your swords, then we're in trouble. Nope, they didn't. But even just this alone is going to slow us down quite a lot. Cool, so we've got our own Tinkerbell. Actually, I'm gonna go with this Kuzco here. The ward's fantastic because they can't target with anything. And we're already almost halfway to the win. Great thing about playing against Steel with this deck at least is if they don't really know what they're doing, they will play Whole New World. which will just give you 7 new cards and just give you all the gas that you need. Hoping we can get like either a Mad Hatter or a Mother Knows Best, something. Okay, great. So we can ink, and not ink, we can bounce this tank, which is great for me. So now they can't get Kuzco, so this is gonna get 6. It's gonna get 6 points before it dies, which is great. And then hopefully we can just keep the momentum going with genies. Play a small tank and a bell. Another Mother Knows Best, which is great. So I'm definitely going to quest with Kuzco and see if I can kind of keep it alive. So if I bounce the bell, yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bounce this bell, and then if they shift the tank and kill the Kuzco, they're going to trade, which is great. So it already kills the Mickey there. And then they can't target it with fire cannons because it has ward, which is great. So I think it will just end up trading with this tank. Although you can see, if they didn't have the Tinkerbell early game to just clear our board out on that one turn, then we would be in such a good spot. We probably would have already won the game at this point. So we trade there. They do have 7 ink to play with. Play a Maurice. They're probably going to look to do an aerial combo pretty soon. I'm going to pass this turn. Unfortunately we don't have 6 ink to play this, or that would be such... This would be great against aerial actually, because aerial basically, if you don't know, wants to just... It readies itself when you play an item, so you just want to spam items, quest, item, and you can just get like a lot of quest in one turn, whereas Gothel will just stop them from questing. They're gonna whole new world us, which is great. So I'm just gonna go super wide here. And hope that they can't do anything on the following turn. They're gonna quest for, like, what is that, 7? They've got 12 ink, which is a lot to play with as well. And we're gonna have to keep him on his Plasma Blaster, so we don't really want to play anything with 1 health, but it might be worth it just to spend their ink. Cool, so let's think about this. What can we play to effectively get to 5 ink the easiest? Definitely this Hans, and then maybe like this Mickey? No, that's 7. So I'm gonna ink this cat, I think. Then we can go Stitch, 2 Lilos, and a Mickey. And this basically tells them that they need to kill 3 units. Which is quite hard for these close to do. Obviously if they play like Tinkerbell, grab your swords, then they can do that, which might have given some agency to manpower, but I guess it's fine. Okay, cool, so there's Double Swords, Plasma Blaster. It's not looking good. Whole new world also again. Hopefully just draw us into a lot more one drops basically. Maybe the big stage, yeah. So I think they're looking for aerial here. Which they don't find, so they've got 8 on board. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, so there's 7, 8, 9. They've got 9 on board. Definitely gonna ink this stage, we're not gonna need it, so we've got 7 to play with. How can we get to 5? I think our best bet is probably Cat and Hans. And then just hope it sticks. So they're gonna need quite a lot. They're gonna need like another Grab Your Swords. And I think I've already seen 2 off of them. But this is definitely the weakness of the deck, is once you get to this point, you're kind of just like desperately playing anything you can to get the last amount that you need. But I think we showcased the deck pretty well in these 3 games. There hasn't been any like turn 5 blowouts, which you can get sometimes. If your opponent's playing like a really slow deck and you get the nuts, and you get like Lilo, Simba, just like multiple Lilos, and then like a Hans, you can like just win the game on those turns. Okay, there's Grab Your Swords, there's a Plasma Blaster. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. Hopefully we can get like a Genie. I think there's still like 2 in deck. Yeah, hopefully we can get Genie, bounce the spell. Be in a good spot, but I don't think that'll be enough actually. Yeah, we're gonna need more than that. Fell 1 turn too late. And they're gonna banish our Cheshire. I think that'll be game. Yep, that looks like it. So there's nothing we can do. That's just the way the deck goes. You either win or you lose. And yeah, losing game 3. That was it. Thanks for watching. If you have any deck recommendations, any suggestions, leave them in the comments and I'll see what I can do. Other than that, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Peace.